This conference will now be recorded.
And as of now, all of you are in listen-only mode. So we're going to cover some content this morning regarding the regional workshops on service integration. And this is brought to you by the WIOA Professional Development Team. This is a committee that provides professional development for the state of Illinois and has representation from each of the 4 core partners. So it is a really unique opportunity for us to get to speak to you today, and we're excited to do so. The agenda for today, for our hour together, is we're going to give an overview of the WIOA Regional Workshops on service integration. We're going to talk about assembling your WIOA Regional Workshop team, and then I will open the floor for conversation around discussion or anything that we've covered. So let's get started. Basically, the marketing has gone out. The WIOA regional workshops have been planned for the last 6 months. We are designing these workshops around assisting LWIA teams in understanding the foundation of service integration and providing an opportunity to begin the collaboration discussion that is paramount to implementing effective service integration strategies. I do want to acknowledge that we are not covering all of service integration in this 10 to 2:30 workshop. I want you to know that we're going to be covering that high-level look at information. We're going to talk about the agenda here in just a second, but we will have other opportunities for other members of your teams to be engaged with service integration and really have a deeper dive into service integration. So let's take a look at what we are planning for today. Oh, I forgot I added this in. This is very important. As we talk about taking that deeper dive, the WIOA Summit is on our calendar. So I would like you to get that on your calendar. We have not got the save the date out. It's coming soon, but you're the first to see this information. So our WIOA Summit, we had one last year in October. This year, it'll be April 23rd and 24th at the Sheridan in Lisle, Naperville. And we'll be looking forward to seeing everyone. And please mark those dates on your calendars. And then registration and topic areas and things like that will be coming in over the next 7 months or so. So thank you so much. So what are we looking at when we're looking at these regional professional developments? Just to give you an idea of where they're going to be. So all sessions are going to run from 10 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. Registration will open at 9:15 at each of the different locations. We have designed this intentionally to represent the state. So we have a southern region at John A. Logan College on the 30th, a central Illinois region on the Radisson Hotel in Normal, right down the street from Heartland Community College, if you're familiar with the area. And then a northern region workshop is going to be at the Arturo Vesquez Technical Institute in Chicago. So those are the 3 dates, those are the 3 opportunities that you and your team can come and really engage in this discussion on service integration. We have goals for our workshops, and the 2 primary goals for the workshops are to provide the foundational understanding of the concepts of service integration, and then to provide the local teams with an opportunity to meet and begin development of a plan to address effective service delivery practices. So we're really looking at providing some foundational information, but that's why that team composition is so essential, which is also part of the reason we brought you all together today to really discuss how that team is going to look, and because you are integral and in assembling that team. This is just a look at the agenda that we're going to be. These will all be identical, and we will repeat throughout the state. We will have an introduction to service integration framework, followed by exploring assessment, and we have brought in Jody Sue Kelly, and she is a nationally renowned speaker on really looking at assessment of service integration and service integration as a whole. She'll be highlighting really some fun and engaging exercises on how that you can bring back to your team and do those exercises with your team on how to ask those tough questions, having that positive spin, and really what are the importance and how to highlight the relationships not only with our clients but with our partners. We have a working lunch, and during that working lunch, we will be doing a demonstration on a case noting resource that is available through Illinois WorkNet. So excited to have them with us. And then we have 2 breakout sessions, and we have designed this day intentionally that the 2 breakout sessions repeat so everyone gets to attend both of those sessions. The first one is making effective referrals, and then the second one would be suitability for training. And those will be available again, they repeat, so everyone gets to attend both of the sessions. And these are those areas that we really find important and essential to us understanding service integration. But as you can see, we're not really covering the whole, because service integration is huge. After that, at 2:30, we're going to have team time, and that's really when you get to sit down with your team and discuss how to improve your customer outcomes through service integration. We're going to have some case studies. We're going to lead that conversation. It's going to be a dynamic day, and we're very excited to present this for you, but we do plan and hope and will adjourn at 3:30 that day for prompt adjournment. Just to give you a little bit more insight into what the breakout sessions are going to be looking at, Suitability for Training will share best practices on training suitability. They will look at the implementation of targeted populations both in urban and rural settings. And we're really going to look at how these apply to best practices. And I'm not going to read those all to you, but you can see those different ways in which we're looking at affecting what we're doing with suitability for training and how that impacts our best practices for service integration. Our other breakout session, or our second breakout session, is really going to be on making effective referrals. And what we're going to focus on then are the 10 steps to consider to ensure a successful referral process, steps for documentation, how to utilize technology, and assessing the immediate needs of our clients. And they'll also be looking at partnerships and the use of partnerships through that as well. So with that, what is your regional team going to look like? How do you assemble that regional team, and what are some things that we can assist you with? And that's really the purpose of this call or this webinar. So we sent out an email yesterday that came out from Deb, and it really talked about who should be included. And this has been on the registration that's been out for a couple weeks now, but we're really wanting all of you, the one-stop operators, to be included and really lead your team. So help us in assembling your teams. We would love to have representatives from each of your WIOA core partners, and then other required partners that are as identified by the one-stop operator as being essential. And we understand that there's an eclectic community in the state of Illinois, and not every one-stop looks exactly the same. So we really want you to consider who should be at the table to bring this back to your local community. Some additional details. LWIAs are really encouraged. We love to use the word required, but I don't know that that's as much as we can require it, we're requiring it to attend as a team. We have encouraged anyone who is interested in attending to get in contact with all of you, with our WIOA one-stop coordinators, and be sure that we're all attending at the same location. Teams, we'd like to be limited to 15 people, and we'd like that to be organized by, like how we're giving you more things to do, organized by the one-stop operator. And I think just as you are the leader within your community and you are the leader within those partners, it is helpful to have, that partnership be displayed during these workshops. If your team cannot attend the session closest to it, you may elect to attend another session. So we're not saying that anyone in any geographic area has to go to any of the 3 workshops, but we do really encourage you and want you to make it a priority to be there as a team, because the session, as you can see, is designed for everyone to attend as a team and to have that team time together. And we feel that that will be the most beneficial way in which the information will be digested and be able to be taken back for local implementation. So as you're thinking about who should be on this team, some team member selection ideas are things that were, again, outlined in the email yesterday, but I want to really focus on those again. The overall benefit to improve service integration is really what we're looking at. So who should be at the table if we're considering the benefits to service integration? Should we consider current customer volume, improving the quality and quantity of cross-program referrals, establish or solidifying relationships, and then what other criteria is relevant in your Illinois WorkNet Center? Some factors to consider as we do approach the idea of team is overall benefit to improve service integration, current customer volume, desire to attend, and then the criteria relevant to your WorkNet Center. So I know I've kind of repeated myself there, but it is really some important factors, and who wants to be there. We are always about most responsive to intervention. At this time, I'm going to open the floor for questions or discussions. I do want to let you know that I'm going to unmute everyone. So if you have any ruckus, for lack of a better word, going on in your background, you're going to be unmuted and you're welcome to mute yourself. So I'm opening the floor for conversation. Do we have any questions?
This is Joanna Green from WIOA 7. I did respond to the email yesterday from Deb to indicate to her that our team would be much larger than 15 people. We have a very large area with 10 American Job Centers, and I did also mention this to Mark at our IWP meeting last week. So I don't want people to be surprised.
I don't think anyone's. Mark, did you want to address that since she mentioned you?
Yeah, Joanna, we had talked about that, and we do understand the uniqueness of, if that's the right word, of WIOA 7. And so I don't know, Amy, if we've come up with a number. Part of the reason to limit the teams is to focus on the right individuals, but really it's the size of the locations we have, and to open it up to any number from any local area, we may not have the capability to have enough seats. So. You know, certainly we understand WIOA 7 being a little bit different than all the others as far as that size and having two comprehensive centers and all that. So certainly we will allow that. I think Amy will need to make sure we have a firm number on what they should have as a team. You know, there should be some kind of limit, but we just need to make that decision still.
Yeah, the only thing I would say is we've already had people register. So, and that is really just looking at the Title IB people. And I know, Mark, we talked last week also that the various WIOA partners were going to contact their own teams, correct? IDES and DRS and so forth.
Yes, they've been doing that.
Okay, so you might have a better idea of the number by the number of folks that have already registered. But I can tell you from Title IB, we probably have, I would say, 25 people.
Right. I think, Amy, was the plan to whoever's already registered, kind of send those back to the one-stop operator and say, here's who's registered in your area as you think about who the team should be. Then there may be instances where somebody that has already registered may be asked to withdraw that registration just because of the team that needs to be put together and individuals that need to be part of that team, and keeping within that kind of limitation of how many can come from a particular area. Based on size of facilities. You know, one thing I want to add is I know you're wondering why there's not only a size restriction based on location, but, you know, there's intent also that this information, you know, we'll build off of it. And between now and the summit, we'll be having webinars on information, and those probably are better suited for frontline staff to hear the information. So, you know, after we get through each of the workshops, that'll kind of be some of the questions we'll be asking, whether that day or through a follow-up evaluation, you know, that you can let us know what you think is important for frontline staff to hear. And because of travel and everything else, you know, the number of people that might be included in the category of frontline staff, we just think the webinar format would be best for them to hear the message and interact in the discussion.
Okay, I would just say to that, and then it might only affect our area then sooner rather than later on the restriction, because we'll have to let people know, and they already have paid the $15.
Right. Again, that's Amy's team will be able
so
to work on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hey, Mark. This is LaVon. We also have quite a few adult ed providers that have signed up already for WIOA 7, just so you know.
Right. It's not just a Title I. Certainly, we know.
Right.
We've looked at the list.
Yeah, they would be a part of that team. So
yes, they would.
You know,
What we're going to do, regarding those individuals who have currently registered, is we're going to share their names and their organizations, and we have them selected by, or they selected their WIOA, so you can see who's there. And then that will give you, as the one-stop operators, an opportunity to coordinate with those members of your team. WIOA 7, we understand, is a unique organization in itself, so we'll address those issues offline. But for the rest of you who are online, that will be something that you can look and see who's on your team and who is attending. One of the things that we really are wanting to avoid is having part of your team at, say, the southern region and part of your team at the central region. We want you all together because you'll get the most out of this workshop if you are all attending together. So we will, as Mark has indicated, be providing webinars on this content as we move forward, and possibly going into deeper dives on particular areas. For example, we've already discussed the the skimming of case noting that we're doing during this workshop, but then we're going to really have a breakout session at the summit on case noting, and possibly we can look at some other avenues for that. One of the things that I will say is, as an evaluation tool for the workshops, is we will put in the evaluation what are those areas that you'd like to have further information on, because what we're wanting to do is allow you to have voice and lead and guide this committee as we plan professional development. Any other questions on the call?
I have a question. If we need to make a change to the local area that we have a person assigned to, who do we need to go through for that?
Within the registration, or?
Right, within the registration. They've already registered, but we need to move them to a different area, or they need to be a regional person?
You can contact on your registration form is an email for Connie Borowski. And
Okay.
she is who handles all registration within my office. And so if you just reach out to her, she'll be able to take care of you.
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely. Any other questions from what we've covered today?
Yeah, so those, especially the one-stop operators that are able to join us today, and we know it's a little bit of short notice, but do you have a better sense now of who you should be inviting to be on the team to attend? We just want to make sure when we leave today from this webinar that you know who you're now going to be contacting to build that team.
Yes.
In addition, there was a mention in the chat box, will the slides be shared? Absolutely, I can share those. We'll just share those out on the listserv. We'll also share the recording out on the listserv. It will be ready before the end of the day today. So anybody who was not able to attend, as we did have a little bit of technical difficulty, they'll be able to have this information in their hands before the close of business today.
That was my question about the slides, because I was unable to attend the webinar online because it said it was full.
Yes, I apologize for that. I'm not sure why, because we should be able to allow 500 people on here. So we are working with our provider. It's GoToWebinar. I'm sure many of you are familiar with that platform. And I'm not sure what the glitch was today, but we will work around it and be able to provide you the slides as well as the recording where you can relive the whole experience again.
For any other questions after the webinar, Amy, do you want those sent directly to you and then you can share with the planning team as necessary?
Yes, that'd be fantastic if you can send them directly to me, and I will put my email in the chat box here, and then I'll send it with the when I send everything out, and that'll all come from Deb again because she mans your listserv. But we'll send that all out, and you'll have my contact information. So if you have any other questions or concerns or discussion points that you would like me to bring back to the committee, please let us know. If there are things, and I'm going to put this shameless plug out there, if there are things that you feel are essential that need to be covered regarding service integration, because that is our theme for this year's WIOA Summit, we'd love to hear from you as well. So there have been surveys and there has been a lot of information shared, but if there are things that you're sitting there thinking, I really hope that they cover customer-centered design in an in-depth format, let us know, because that's something that will shape our discussion. We are absolutely here to listen and want to be a part, want you to be a part of the discussion.
All right, there's a couple other comments and questions in the chat bot I want to address. One of them was, have the state agencies who should have representation at these workshops been notified? And yes, they have been. The core partners have all been present and part of the planning team for these workshops, as well as for the summit, as well as the other required partners have been notified if they wish to join the workshop to register appropriately. So, they should be contacting the one-stop operator or the one-stop operator contacting them, because we do know that in some areas it's the state staff that actually operate in the local areas. So we have made that known. And then second, Levon, I don't know that you were able to join the actual webinar itself, but you're on the call. And Elwia or Pam Furlan's asking if you could provide her with those individuals that have registered. I guess, Amy, you probably
I will be providing
Yeah.
that, yes.
Okay.
That'll go out individually. But yeah, Levon can as well. She has the data.
Great.
Yeah. I can do that, Amy, unless
go
you
right
just
ahead.
want to do it. Okay.
No, go right ahead.
And I couldn't get on the webinar either, just so you know.
Yeah, as I said, I do apologize.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what the technical
That's
glitch
okay.
is.
I just wanted to, yeah.
So any other closing comments or questions? Again, I want to invite you to share this information. I invite you to ask us questions. You can contact both Michael and Mark, or you can contact me regarding questions about the professional development workshops that are coming up. And I can absolutely guarantee that your partner should have heard about this stuff. Adult education has gone out. IDES has gone out. We have representation on the committee from all of the 4 core partners. So everyone is seeing the same information that you are seeing. This webinar was held specifically because you are seen as the leaders here. You are seen as the one who gets to the responsibility of kind of coordinating your team. And we wanted to give you an opportunity to ask additional questions. So with that, if there are no additional questions, I believe we are good to sign off. Is there any closing comments for the day?
Thank you.
Great.
Thanks,
Thank you all
Amy.
very much for attending on such short notice, and we look forward to hearing from you. Thank you.
Thanks so much. Bye.
Hey.
Bye.